Bernie Sanders, a Jewish senator, says it all. He calls out Netanyahu and his government as he should. Take a listen to this, and then we'll take it on the other side.
Who defended the report, the fact that there was no definitive conclusion drawn. He also said he has not seen a definitive plan from Israel to go into Rafah without mitigating civilian casualties. What was your takeaway, Senator?
Well, Kristen, I have a lot of respect for Tony Blinken. He has an impossibly difficult job. But the reality is I think any objective observer knows Israel has broken international law. It has broken American law. And in my view, Israel should not be receiving another nickel in U.S. military aid. Look, the facts are quite clear. Hamas is a terrible, disgusting terrorist organization that began this war. But what Israel has done over the last 7 months is not just gone to war against Hamas, it has gone to war against the entire Palestinian people. And the results have been absolutely catastrophic. I mean, Kristen, we're talking about not just 35,000 Palestinians dead and 77,000 wounded, 2/3 of whom are women and children. That is not the way you conduct a war in a civilized society to the degree that war is civilized. We're talking about 60% of the housing in Gaza having been destroyed. The civilian infrastructure, that's water, that is raw sewage now running out into the streets, no electricity. You are talking about a systematic destruction of the healthcare system there. Every university in Gaza has been bombed. And right now, most frighteningly, according to the humanitarian organizations, we are looking at the likelihood of hundreds of thousands of children facing starvation. The Foreign Assistance Act is very, very clear. 6201, the provision. Any entity, any state, any country that blocks U.S. humanitarian aid is in violation of law and should not continue to receive military aid from the United States. That is precisely what Israel has done.
Senator, let me just press you a bit, because I hear you saying you believe Israel shouldn't receive another cent, and yet 26 House Democrats wrote a letter to the White House saying they are, quote, deeply concerned about the message the administration is sending to Hamas and other Iranian-backed terrorist proxies. Does withholding weapons to Israel run the risk of prolonging this war and weakening Israel's hand against Hamas?
No, well, I understand. Look, every Republican, as I understand it, wants to give huge amounts of money to Israel. My guess is that many Republicans want Israel to go into Rafah despite the incredible humanitarian destruction that will cause. And there are Democrats who also feel that way. But this is what I will tell you, Kristen. That is not what the American people feel. Poll after poll suggests that the American people want an immediate ceasefire. They want massive humanitarian aid to get in. The people of our country do not want to be complicit in the starvation of hundreds of thousands of children. And by the way, when we talk about the international community, we are increasingly isolated in terms of our support for Israel, who is becoming a pariah nation.
But, Senator, I mean, is there a non-military way to get rid of Hamas, given the threat that they pose, given that they say their very goal is to destroy Israel's existence?
You're absolutely right. Look, Hamas that is exactly right. That is their goal. It is difficult. I don't want to minimize this. So the goal is to defeat Hamas, but not to destroy or cause the enormous amount of destruction that we're now seeing in Gaza. And I hope that the future for the Palestinian people is a new generation of Palestinian leaders who focus on allowing the people to have a state of their own. We got to support a two-state solution, improving the economy, rebuilding the economy. That's the long-term goal.
Bernie Sanders is not. Bernie Sanders is Jewish. No one can accuse him of being anti-Semitic. Bernie Sanders is a learned person. Nobody can accuse him of not knowing the entire history of Israel and Palestine. Nobody can accuse him of that. The fact that he can come out and preach what his eyes are seeing, we can all see what's occurring in Gaza. And it is an international crime. It is genocide. It is whether we want to accept it or not, whether we're scared to talk about it or not, we have to be honest with it. Else, why would any other country take us seriously when we are trying to play mediators to solve problems internationally? Israel destroying entire infrastructure. In effect, they are trying to make life unlivable in Gaza. And if life is unlivable in Gaza, what then happens? A migration out of humanity from the rest of the world. That is what they're trying to do. And that is the classic definition of genocide. And yes, yesterday, if you watched 60 Minutes, you saw some stories about Israel fighting a war on 3 flanks or in 3 fronts. Yeah, that is true. But ask yourself many a question. Why is Israel building a whole lot of settlements inside of occupied territory in the West Bank? Ask why is it that the treatment, if you see how the military, and look, you know why they want to get rid of TikTok? You know why they want to get rid of all these other sources of independent media? Because it is unfettered. You can actually see the truth. Yes, you can see a lot of lies too, but you have to be able to discern reality. And the reality is the treatment that, and they say it themselves, they don't hide it. The right-wing Palestinians don't hide it. They don't think of Palestinians as savages. They think of Palestinians as animals. And as such, they have no concern, no human concern for these people. And it shows. And for those who would say, why will you be defending somebody that take away the rights of women, that take away the rights of homosexuals, etc.? All of that is true. But we're fighting 2 separate battles. One is a battle of humanity. The other is a cultural battle. The battle of humanity, Netanyahu and his team are losing it miserably. Because again, what they're doing is patently inhumane. It is genocide. And it doesn't matter what Hillary Clinton say. It doesn't matter what you hear on network TV. When they're trying to make excuses for Israel. When Biden goes out and he says, I am talking to Netanyahu, I'm trying to get him to treat innocent civilians better, not to go in with that kind of fighting power. No. Every time you talk to him and you wait days to talk again, there are more dead people. It is time to tell Netanyahu, stop or else. Ceasefire or else. And I don't want to hear folks telling, well, look at what Hamas did. They both did bad things. But I can tell you one thing. Look at Gaza, and then look at Tel Aviv, look at Haifa, look at Jerusalem. One place, there's no healthcare, no nothing. The other place, yes, you have to run into bomb shelters ever so often, but you have a life. Folks, your eye, don't let them tell you your eyes are not seeing what it's seeing. Don't let them tell you that everything that you see on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, that somehow that is propaganda. No, dead people are dead people are dead people, and 34,000 dead Palestinians are and 1,200 dead Israelis. It's a terrible situation. But what Netanyahu is doing in Gaza, by not just killing fighters, terrorists, but by methodically destroying the infrastructure, healthcare, education, and everything else, we are complicit. And if we continue to be complicit, God help us all.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.